The point of the DEA is to protect our nation against illegal drug activity and to prosecute the criminals that threaten us in that regard. How would you grade, over the course of the last 2 years, the DEA's progress relative to the mission statement?
Congressman, I think that the men and the women of the DEA are doing an incredible job to meet this moment and to save lives. I also believe that we are doing what we need to do, which is to transform our vision, the way we work, and how we execute on it in order to stop Americans from dying. And I believe that we're doing that.
I don't think you are. I'll be honest.
DEA Chief Ann Milgram is delusional. 100,000 people at least will die this year from fentanyl. And it's not an overdose, it's a poisoning. You tell the father that goes up to his kid's room only to find them dead with foam coming out of their mouth in their bedroom at 16 years old that the DEA is doing their job. That the Biden administration has the border closed so fentanyl can't come into this country to kill their 16-year-old son or daughter. God forbid, even younger than that. And she says they're doing a great job. Garcia confronted her on that as well.
When you have 100,000 Americans die of these poisonings in a given year, and it's getting worse over time, to make the assertion as the administrator of the DEA that you're doing this job well, or that you're getting the job done, is frankly flagrant and offensive. I don't think you're doing a good job. I don't mean that to be disrespectful, but I do this in the interest of our nation's security. Self-awareness to our own performance matters, and this delusional mindset that we are actually doing our jobs well when it comes to this DEA mission is very dangerous.
You use the same word I did. Delusional. Here's the thing. He's a sitting United States congressman. He's a gentleman. Sometimes I'm not. These people are idiots. They're devious, the Biden administration. They're deceitful, and they're idiots. You combine all three of those things, and it makes for a disaster where Americans are being killed. Killed. It makes me so angry. So I figured I'd bring in my buddy, Republican Congressman from California, Mike Garcia, who was a gentleman there. I don't know how he held himself back. The Navy fighter pilot, I'm sure, was steaming coming out of his head. Congressman Garcia, it's great to have you on the program. That had to tick you off, to say the least.
Yeah, that was probably one of the most challenging moments in just keeping cool and trying to stay rational and not to blow my top. Look, this administration is not just one of the most prolific human smuggling administrations, but the most prolific in lying, Grant. And they are putting our nation in probably the most perilous position we've been in centuries. Let's review the lies. If you don't mind, indulge me here. The Hunter laptop was a hoax. We found out that was real. They kept telling us there was no inflation when we knew there was inflation. They told us there were no FISA abuses when we knew that was the case, that they're not entangled with China in this administration when they are, that defunding the police wasn't going to lead to a crime spike, that Afghanistan was a logistical success for some reason, that the pandemic is over, but we still need a proxy vote and spend billions of dollars on it, that we're not in a recession, that the border is secure, that the Ukrainians would lose in just a matter of a couple of days, that gas prices are actually down, and that Putin's caused inflation, the vaccine worked, no one died of flus, and the crisis at the border is now somehow climate change related. Putting this in perspective, this is a continuation of lies where the DEA and Mayorkas now are saying that the border is secure when we know damn well that there's millions of people coming across our border that we're catching, not to mention the folks that we're not catching. And even today, you played it, the press secretary lying about the cheat sheets that Biden has been using, and then also trying to lie to us and tell us that illegal immigration has come down by 100,000. Same administration that told us it was a weather balloon that overflew the United States, when we know now that, and in fact, was not a weather balloon, it was a surveillance balloon out of China that we were tracking for several weeks, in fact. So this is a continuation of lies, and American people are dying, and it's offensive, and frankly, I would be so pissed off if I was a parent who lost a child to fentanyl, hearing this DEA administrator tell us that they're doing a good job. So yes, in short, it took a lot of restraint to keep my cool in that environment, but we're going to be working on them from an appropriations perspective here.
Do you know what's crazy? That long list of lies. There's even more. They told us the Afghanistan withdrawal was a complete success, and then we got what's happening in Sudan now again. Afghanistan 2.0 all over again. Congressman, when you hear J.J. Carroll, the former Border Patrol station chief, talk about them moving numbers from the CBP1 app out of the encounters to make it look like the numbers are fudged, faked. What goes through your mind?
It's completely not surprising. This is the same behavioral patterns we saw relative to COVID, the accounting of numbers and deaths. No flu deaths during COVID, apparently. Look, this is what this for years now we've been seeing this. I've been to the border several times. I have seen firsthand a 6-year-old little girl by herself come across the border with her 1-year-old brother in hand. With no escort, and within a matter of days, they're sent to a house that the only verification that the government did before they released him and put him on a plane, paid for by government tax dollars, was that there was in fact a house at that location